fish heads, roly-poly fish heads.
What's that from?
Saturday Night Live.
It's like, I don't know.
Fish heads, eat 'em up, yum.
I don't know that.
I thought that was a
maybe
Dr.
you're not
Demento radio show song that always used to.
I don't
Probably.
know.
Probably
I
could have
heard
been.
it. I remember hearing it.
It's been a long time since you came, though. The last time you came onto the show, the last time you were on was
You were like the
a while
third
ago,
person
yeah.
we ever had on. And
Yes.
That's true.
And the
That is
only
so
episode we have ever repeated.
That's not true.
No?
True. Oh, you played it twice?
Yeah?
I did, yeah, because it's good content. You know, Micah Graber is with us. He is a local vocal coach. Been doing it for years and years, but that's not why he's on the podcast today. Today we brought him in because he's doing something really cool up in Michigan.
Something to do with Lederhosen.
What?
No, that was the other thing. That was the Swiss.
Oh yeah, no, he does that too.
The Swiss
yeah.
Army Knife Singers.
The
Yes.
Swiss Army Knife Singer.
Yeah, that's it.
You're hysterical.
No, what are you doing up there though?
All right, so I'm guys. I'm sorry. I was
He's
still
trying
trying
to
to. I
find
was
it
just
so he
trying
can
to
read
find
it.
so that I can access the info. I think I know the info. Never mind. All right, so we're doing a program that has been entitled Bravo, the Saugatuck Center for the Arts.
What is it?
Saugatuck Center for the Arts.
Saugatuck Center for the. See, because Ron and I were talking about this before you came in here. We didn't know how to say the stuff.
SCA.
SCA, right?
Saugatuck Center for the Arts.
Correct. So it's in Saugatuck, Michigan, which, if you don't know where that is, it's about 12 miles south of Holland, right on the coast.
Okay.
Great place.
Easy driving distance.
It's about 3 hours from here.
Yeah, easy. Getting in a car.
Yeah. It's a great place to go for a weekend or a little getaway all year round. I mean, it's a big summer spot, but it's a lot of fun. Looks a little bit like Hallmark movie kind of.
Really?
A little bit.
Really
a bit
pretty?
Like, yeah, it's very pretty Christmas and other parts.
Well, we used to vacation up there as a family, go all the way up to the UP. And the further north you go and the more time you spend in the car up in Michigan, it is very beautiful up there. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yep, pretty stuff.
Yeah.
So the Arts Center there.
That was a great answer. Yep, pretty stuff.
Pretty stuff.
Up
Yeah,
north.
you nailed it, Kyle. You nailed it.
That's the Oopers. The Ooper, eh? Up north. Yeah, it is gorgeous. So the Arts Center does a lot of things throughout the year. And in the summer, they do two musicals. They did Kinky Boots and they did Jersey Boys.
Nice.
The director comes in, artistic director, he's from New York, does great shows, the equity stuff.
Okay.
And, of course, there's tons of people so they can do a run because there's a lot of people in and out of town. So during the year, they do all sorts of other things. And so one of the things that they are doing is this program, which they started a few years back. And they brought in a group of opera singers and did kind of a cabaret setting in the lobby, just 80 seats. And everybody enjoyed it. And it's a fundraiser, actually, for their arts outreach school program that really serves a lot of
So you have professional
underserved.
opera singers in a lobby singing for just 80 seats? Oh my
Special
gosh.
time.
Yeah, no kidding, because I mean that's really intimate setting there, and they're used to singing for much bigger rooms, so those people were probably like, whoa, this is intense, being only 80 seats away.
Well, actually, we've all sung in all different kinds of settings, and the people that have done it the last few years, they all had other things to do, and so they approached me and said, "Hey, could you find some singers? Could you put something together?" I'm like, yeah. And I kind of took a chance. I don't know a chance. I thought, hey, you don't know if you don't ask.
That's right. The answer is always no if you don't ask.
And I
That's
said
right.
no, I wased available that day.
Right? And so we
had
had
to
to go with
scrounge.
plan B.
Plan B.
Plan B, yeah. So I messaged my friend Leah Crocetto,
Never heard of her.
a big international opera diva now.
Yeah.
Kind of a biggie deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of like I knew her then,
Yeah,
way
nice,
back.
Nice.
And she was in Sydney, Australia, doing at the Sydney Opera House, singing Aida. in the
Sydney
opera.
All right,
House.
repeat that
Yeah.
again. Okay, so you called
Wait.
an opera star who was just in the Sydney Opera House singing Aida and said, I'll just call this lady to see if she'll
Well,
do some
she is
show.
a friend of mine. I mean, it wasn't like
yeah.
I was reaching out.
Wasn't
into
some
the blue.
rando, right?
No.
No.
She sends me a picture from the dressing room. She was in the Dame Joan Sutherland dressing room. Of course, that's the star dressing room.
Okay.
So
I have to
anyway,
believe you.
So
She is the star.
I mentioned what we were doing, that it was this fundraiser, a small venue, blah, 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 and what the dates were. And she goes, well, let me check. And she got back to me a little while later, and she goes, okay, I'll do it.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So I told when we had a meeting at the Arts Center, I said, just so you know, the only reason she's coming is because I called her.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's pretty true.
It is true. Nobody else
But-
called her, did they?
No?
There you go.
So she's like, I mean, she loves to do all sorts of things. And she said, hey, it's for the people.
That's nice.
Oh,
So the thing about, let's talk about, since we're
Well, how do
talking
you know
about
her?
Leah.
Let's talk about that. Like, how do you know this person randomly that you can get a hold of?
Well, it's not exactly random.
Yeah.
So, she went to school in Adrian,
Okay.
Michigan, Siena Heights. Part of her schooling was there. And she did a lot of stuff at the Croswell. Mm-hmm. So back in the day, I mean, she did. I saw her do Smokey Joe's Cafe, stuff like this.
musical theater.
That's mostly what she did. And so I actually met her through Todd Schreiber. So
nice.
Todd music directed up there, and he heard
Todd's
her.
an award-winning music director. Let's point that out, too.
He is. And he will be our accompanist.
Beautiful.
In fact, he called me one day. He says, hey, I want you to hear this girl. You got to hear this girl. So he brought her over to the house, and she sang, and I'm like, my jaw hit the floor, and I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had her sing some concerts with the Fireland Symphony I was doing, and
What was she like?
stuff like that.
15, 16, 17?
No. She was in her 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
already
the
done.
operatic voice had already been able to kick in by then, probably, right?
Well, no, we were doing some like musical theater stuff, popular stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it just started from there, and she and Todd are real close, and
Nice.
so yeah, we sang different things off and on through the years, and always.
Were
stay in
you
touch.
her vocal coach?
No.
Oh, because you can't take full credit for her stuff.
Nope.
now.
No,
Okay.
but
I take credit
she
for
just, Todd just said, you need to hear her sing, and you took the time and said, oh, okay.
Yeah, so he came over and he played a few things, and she sang through some stuff. I can say one thing. A few years later, she decided that she wanted to really focus on opera.
Okay.
So she says, she called me. She says, I want to audition for the Merrill Opera program in San Francisco, which is a program I did.
Oh.
She said, would you write me a recommendation? I said, of course. So I wrote a recommendation, and she sent me all of her materials, and I said, Dear San Francisco Opera, Merrill program, ignore Leah's resume. You must hear her. She'll be your next big star.
There you go.
She got an audition. She calls me. I got a call back. She calls me. I got in.
Wow.
She calls me a couple of weeks into the summer. They offered me a fellowship. I said, really? I'm so shocked. And that's.
But
She
you
was-
launched her career.
No.
But it's one of those people, though, that you can hear and just know, like, okay, people just need to hear her and it's over, basically. Right?
Exactly.
It's over. There's no, if you just listen to her sing a couple notes, any questions you may have had about whether she's good enough is answered, right? It's
Right.
like this school would be a fool not to have her, basically.
Right. So, and she'll say that, she's a singer. She makes most of her living singing opera, but she's a singer.
Nice.
And so one of the coolest things about Leah, similarly to Eileen Farrell, who they called the voice of the 20th century, she sings everything. And she sings everything extremely well. She sings, like I said, Smokey Joe's. She can wail. She can skrelt. She can
What?
sing jazz. She can sing
belt?
opera. She does it
What's
all.
skrelt?
Oh, skrelting is like a high belt, like like
okay.
those real. It's really a musical theater term.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I never heard of
it's
it
just,
before.
It's like in the contemporary musical theater when they're just up there and it just sounds like they're on the edge of screaming. kind
Gotcha.
of a thing.
So probably a lot of stuff that was in like Jesus Christ Superstar. There's a lot of like way up there high notes, almost screaming.
kind of, yeah. So
Like
that's-
Jesus.
That's right. So
Nailed
skrelt
it.
is literally
Nailed it.
screaming
You
belt.
squelted.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally squelted just now.
Oh my goodness.
Is she
You
from?
just squatched it.
I
Like a
squatched. Is she
Sasquatched it.
from
Sasquatched
Michigan then?
Yeah, she's from. I guess she's near.
I wasn't
18.
sure
Yeah,
if
she's
she
a
was from Michigan or she went to
But-
Michigan. Yeah.
No, her family was.
I believe she did some local musical theater with Joe Barton, maybe Waterville, or
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't-
yes. I mean, she was.
You're
she
not
was
confusing her with the other lady who just won the award,
No,
Tony Awards.
No, Leah Crocetto
How do you do on that?
said it kind of okay.
You did it. Yeah.
I would be
Crocetto.
way worse.
Crocetto.
I'm too American to pronounce
So it's
anything.
two T's. Crocetto.
Okay.
Crocetto?
There you go. Yeah. You got it.
Crocetto. Anyway, she did some local musical theater here.
Wow.
Yeah. So people from the area certainly know her. So yeah, I mean, I called her, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to call a former UT student, my student, Moises Salazar. He's
You're really
from-
good with those accents, man.
He's from California. He had worked with my colleague, Denise Bernardini, Dr. Denise Ritter Bernardini, and at a program in Italy. And she wanted him to come here and study. And he goes, well, maybe, but I want to study with a man. So she says, we have one of those. So
You're
he
half the
came.
world, man.
Yeah. So we had a lesson, and before the lesson was over, he said, I'm going to come here and study.
Nice.
He grew up, interestingly, in a mariachi band. His family is a mariachi band.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So he learned to just sing oftentimes outside. They would do multiple gigs a day. You know, he
Nice.
could really belt it out. And
So just loves it anyways. That just sounds like a fun thing to do in general anyway. So,
oh, yeah. And he plays guitar. He's great.
oh my gosh. Is he gorgeous too? Yeah, he is. It's
yeah,
okay. You don't even have
yeah.
to say he is. I already
He is.
know he is. I already got the picture in my mind of the mariachi band. Mariachi?
Mariachi.
Mariachi band guy playing the guitar. He's gorgeous. I already know.
He actually, I had him come to Toledo School for the Arts and do one of their, when they have
Yeah.
a little performance for the kids, and then they can talk to the artist or whatever. And so he came in and he sang some arias, and then he went and put his mariachi jacket on, got his guitar, and then he sang mariachi music. Well, you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah.
And so they asked him afterwards if he would, I think David Sagers came to me and said, you think Moises might be interested in doing a mariachi band here?
Yeah. Because they now currently have a mariachi band.
And that's why.
Wow, look at that. I never knew that. I knew a young man who played the trumpet in that mariachi band, and it was like when I've seen him play before, but it's just like some of the stuff that is like, oh wow, you're really good. And the mariachi band like features the trumpet, which is what he played, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, look at you making people having connections and stuff.
Hey, I mean,
So you got
if it spreads more music and more joy,
Exactly. That's why you're producing this show, right? Are you producing, directing? What are you on this show?
So,
you've gathered Leah, Todd,
yeah, and me.
And you?
and Moises.
Yeah, well, let me finish. Let me finish
Yeah.
on the Moises story. So,
There's more to his awesomeness?
yeah, so
Okay.
he finished here, and then he went off, and it wasn't long before he ended up going to the Merrill Opera program in San Francisco. And he's actually currently doing a fellowship, which Leah and I have also done. So,
Wow.
And this summer, he made his debut as Pinkerton in Madame Butterfly. He got to do 2 performances with San Francisco Opera, so that's a big deal.
I wish I knew more
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
because I'm
we're-
sure there are people
Pinkerton
listening
is
to this
it's-
going like, "Oh my god!" And I'm just
Yeah,
I feel
right.
like this must be huge.
It's the leading tenor role in Madame Butterfly by
Okay.
Puccini.
okay.
Yeah, it's like Jean Valjean. You
Is it?
nailed it.
Is
That's
this like I
big.
feel like sometimes
Or
I mean
Alphaba.
we are the average guys who don't know a lot about theater and stuff, and so sometimes
Pinkerton.
it is kind of like, oh, I wish I knew a little bit more. So
Remember the name Pinkerton.
Pinkerton, okay.
Pinkerton. So I went out to see him. Of course, I couldn't miss that.
Oh.
And he was fabulous. And so I said, well, if Leah's going to sing, if I had Moises come, they actually know each other a little bit. He's sung for her. And I thought their voices are perfectly matched.
Oh wow.
So they're going to do some Puccini, a couple big duets and things. So
Wow. When
Yeah,
is the
so that
show?
fell together.
Let's tell people when the show is, first of all. When is this?
Well, it's November 11 and
November
12.
11th and 12th. Okay,
And
so
there may be a couple. There was a little glitch in the system. They thought they were sold out, but they may still have a couple tickets.
Try
But
anyway,
if you
people.
think you want to get up there, it'd be well worth the drive.
Yeah.
It's only 80 seats per performance. It's
Okay.
in a kind of cabaret setting with the piano.
and then you could probably bring in a couple chairs, right?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know about
Put
that.
them in the aisles.
It's kind of a sit-down cabaret.
Wow, this is
thing,
really an
so-
exclusive, amazing
The whole
show that's
concept of
coming up.
a opera cabaret is kind of cool, but it's more than opera. And it's
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
there's
be
two
doing-
people,
Yeah.
well, Todd and
Todd and you.
and then
you.
me. So there's so
Four.
it's Leah and Moises and me and Todd.
Yeah, and Todd's playing.
Yep.
He's not singing.
Right.
Right, because he's an award-winning musical director, not a...
Well, he sings as well, but yeah,
Does
he'll
he?
be playing. He has a lot of playing to do.
Yes, his fingers will be moving all night.
Opera arias and duets and jazz stuff. Of course, he's familiar with. He's played for Leah, so he knows the musical theater and the jazz stuff. And then Moises is actually
That guy
going to
knows
do
everything, doesn't he? He
knows
he
a
just
lot.
throw some sheet music right in front of him and he'll just start
He'll
playing
play it.
Yeah, it's amazing skill and talent.
And then I thought, well, I'll add to the variety, and I'll have Moises sing some Spanish songs.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's going to be quite a variety. I'm doing crooner,
Yeah.
some crooner tunes.
Like
so,
what? What are
and
you
kind of
singing? What crooner
MC.
song?
So
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
trying to
He's
tie
gonna
all
do-
the pieces together.
I'm
Yeah.
doing a
Do-
little musical theater, and then I'm doing.
you could do your mashup of Old Man River and Summertime. Do that mashup.
Yes. Anybody who hasn't heard it already will love
if
it.
I
I'll
if I
love it
had
anyway.
a choir and a clarinetist, but
Again. Yeah, that was different.
it was a cool thing, though. Yeah.
But besides opera, there's more. You said there's going to be some crooning Broadway songs.
Right. So
Yeah, because when
There-
we read the thing, it said Bravo, jazz, musical,
Theater,
Broadway,
opera,
something like that. yeah.
Wine, drinking. you
right,
know.
right. Yeah. There's a variety of opera, and then Leah will be doing some jazz tunes,
Nice.
some musical theater tunes. They will be doing "All I Ask of You" from the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, geesh.
Moises
Yeah.
is going to do "Bring Him Home"
Okay.
Oh,
from Les Mis.
there you go. That's funny you had mentioned that.
He is Pinkerton and
Oh my god,
Jean Valjean. Okay.
Was kind of interesting. You said that.
that is crazy.
Now, you don't want to sit in the first three rows because your face will peel off right there.
No,
'Cause they'll
not necessarily.
blast.
I mean, we just because we can sing in
They're professionals. They can
5,000
adjust.
seat
Okay,
house doesn't
okay.
mean that we're going to sing.
Because
like
I made
that.
I made that same mistake making that comment.
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, they're going to be blown away, and then he was like, nah, they know what they're doing, right? They can adjust the decibels.
Yeah, it's really, when you sing in a large opera house, you have a big orchestra, and it's such a physical activity to produce enough sound for all of that.
Right, because they don't use microphones. Right,
No
a lot of time? Yeah.
We don't use microphones.
Oh, there you go. See, the Toledo Opera has been on, and they have educated us on that kind of stuff. So I thought I was speaking correctly in the fact that you don't use microphones.
Right, we self amplify our voice.
That's amazing.
In other words, it's a process of the way we sing. So, but because we can do that, doesn't mean that we have to do that. I mean, you can rein it in, and you can.
So if it's in a smaller facility and you don't need to blow the doors off the back of the room because it's smaller, you can control it. Again, you're professionals.
Yeah,
Right.
and they can say, "Hey, Todd, quit playing so loud. We were singing."
Yeah, right. Can't hear any of the singers.
We're not here for you, Todd.
Yeah. But we've debated. Now, this is a podcast for musical theater. Why are we talking about opera? Is opera musical theater?
Well, it's music in a theater.
There you go.
Nailed it. Acting,
Yeah.
scenery.
Well, if you have a play, there's too much emotion for the dialogue. They burst into singing. Mm-hmm. But there's dialogue and there's some singing. And then when there's too much emotion for a musical, it grows into an opera.
That's a great.
It's a different form. I mean, operas have been around
That's great.
obviously a lot longer.
Right.
That's
yeah.
great.
So, here's a story. So I was on a national
Micah
tour.
has a story, everybody.
I have a
How
story.
rare.
Listen up.
I love your
y'all.
stories, though, man.
So I was on a tour of Carmen, and we were
San Diego, right?
no,
You weren't in San Diego?
No.
All right, dumb joke. Go ahead, continue.
We were all over the country.
All right, Carmen.
And Japan. But anyway, so we're on this tour, and we're in I don't know, Montana, somewhere like that, kind of in the middle of nowhere. We were at the only hotel for many, many hundreds of miles, I think, and they had a pool. Interesting. And so we're at dinner in the hotel because there was nowhere else to go. And this guy walks up with his two little boys.
Wait, is the pool involved in this story? Because all of a sudden you just threw that in there. Like that was the deciding factor for the hotel?
No.
All right.
I'll get to the pool.
All right, sorry.
Okay.
Cool your
I was like,
jets.
what?
Give me a chance here, all right?
Yeah,
Give me a
sorry.
chance.
He's building up people.
So this guy walks up with his two kids, and they had made a trek to have a very special outing because they came to use the pool. Or they came to, overnight and you have the pool.
Yeah.
He says, I got a question. He says, my boys here, we heard that there's an opera going on. And my boys was wondering, what's an opera?
Nice.
And they were looking at me all big-eyed. And I said, well,
Did you look like opera people, or were they just randomly asking everybody at the pool?
no, we were at dinner.
At dinner.
You got to listen. Pay
I
attention.
know. I'm telling you. But at dinner, but how did they know you were the opera
restaurant,
people?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they heard me laughing or something. I don't know.
That was it.
Or maybe I was the only. Maybe we were the only ones in the restaurant at the time. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's your
or
butter
somebody
voice. Or like
pointed
that
us
guy
out. I
has
don't
to
know.
be.
I don't know what it was. So he asked me, and what's an opera? And I said, well, you ever seen a soap opera? And the boys everybody nodded their head. And I said, well, you know how in a soap opera, everything's really kind of exaggerated. I mean, it's not just your everyday things that happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's something really big, and it's always one big thing after another.
No evil twins in the world. That's not normal.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Everyone in the world doesn't marry everyone in town.
Yeah.
And get divorced, and everybody ends up in the hospital.
Yeah.
So
everybody has amnesia and has to start a whole new life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they kind of nodded. I said, well, have you ever seen a musical? Well, kind of. They kind of had an idea. I said, well, take the big stories of a soap opera, add singers, and not only singers, and we have a big, orchestra playing all kinds of instruments. And it's just like drama to the max. It's everything. It's theater and singing and orchestra and lights and costumes. It's kind of, you throw it all in there, and that's what you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so they smiled and they nodded. I said, now, if you all come to the opera tomorrow night, I said, you make sure to come backstage, and I'll give you a little tour, and you can meet meet the cast and stuff. So they did, and after the opera, and this is kind of an intense opera, and they came back, and they were all big-eyed and just all smiles ear to ear. I said, what'd you think? And they're like, we never saw nothing like that.
Nice. First of all, I love this dad.
Right?
This dad is amazing.
He was, yes. I mean, that was quite a stretch.
Yeah,
But he
especially
thought,
if he had that accent and talking like that, and he's like, "Hey,
He's
man,
like,
what's
"You
going
done-
on?" And he was
Yeah.
open-minded and wanted to go and see this thing in Montana. Like, let's see what's going on here.
You come all the way out here, we're going to check it out.
Wow,
And
love this dad.
So afterwards, I showed him around and stuff, and I said, so do you think you might check out some more opera, some classical music, and try out different things? Oh, yeah, we can't wait to see something else.
Love it.
And that's what we all have to do.
Yeah.
When we're in the theater, for supporters of theater and music, we have to get everybody to get off the couch and turn off their phone and their tablet. We got to get them to live performances.
Yeah. Again, this whole podcast, this whole thing is not supposed to have ever happened. We are just these average dudes who grew up our whole lives watching football and sports, and how we fell into this
Suddenly
stuff.
we tried something new.
You try something new and went, what is this?
What is this?
Right?
And then
Right?
you sitting in a restaurant weren't the big diva that you
No.
usually are. This time you actually came down and talked to these little
Yeah,
boys.
there you
Okay,
go.
and changed their lives.
I was those kids, though. I was exactly those children. I just happened to be, a father already by the time I discovered this kind of stuff. Luckily, these young men experienced it early, and maybe they'll be able to enjoy it longer than I will be able to. That's my
Right.
whole thing on all this stuff is like, I wish that I had experienced some of these things earlier. Because when I finally did, I was like, what in the world? I missed out on all this stuff.
But your description of what
love
opera is, finally, now I get it.
Yeah,
It's
it just
soap
keeps
opera,
fitting in with everything that we do.
More emotion than a musical theater can contain.
Because Ron did ask, like, well, what's going on
Well,
here? And
now
I
the
said,
musical theater people may not be happy with that because some of them will say, well, opera singers just stand and sing and they don't know how to act, which really isn't the case anymore as much. When you're singing opera, though, you don't have a microphone. So if you go to an opera and it seems like they really exaggerate or they don't move as much as musical theater people and they don't burst into dance, well, that's because it's such an incredibly physical activity.
yeah.
This is an interesting thing.
I hope everybody just kind of appreciates everything for what it is, because I would hope that the musical theater people wouldn't be like, well, they don't do that because they overact or whatever. It's like, okay, well, the same thing can be said about you guys by the film actors. They can sit there and say, you guys you look ridiculous because they zoom in on in the camera that's, you're tight and your whole face is in the screen, and if you overact, it'll look like you're overacting. So hopefully there's a lot of like more appreciation and respect for all
there
that
is
stuff.
generally.
Yeah.
I mean, I was playing around there a little bit. No, there very generally is. I always have. I love musicals. I love the ballet. I love
More beautiful art out there. Exactly.
all kinds of any kind of music. So. Yeah, and I think it's important to be open, and we might particularly like a certain thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be
I came
passionate
up
about
here a long time ago, 1991, and from a little rural town, and I ran into all the art, like slammed right into my face, and it was like one of the biggest eye-opening things. I'm currently an art director, a career I'd never heard of before, and I do believe it had a lot to do with just lack of exposure. Seeing these kinds of things and doing this stuff, and I went to the Peristyle and I listened to the symphony being played and I was like, oh my gosh, it's, you don't know what you're gonna like until you try it. It's just like anything else. So I strongly encourage everybody to go to the opera and not just to go see the show that you're producing up in what's it called again? Saugatuck Community. No, Center for the Arts. Saugatuck Center for the Arts. Not just there, but yes, please go there and obviously see the show.
And and the point is, it's and we're doing a variety. So and that's a good way to kind of introduce sometimes people to operas.
That is a good
to
way,
sing
yeah.
popular tunes, and so there'll be a variety, something for everyone. And the reason that we're doing something for everyone is that this entire thing is being supported by the sponsors. So all of the expense is being covered by some of the patrons there in town.
Nice.
So that 100% of the ticket sales
100%
goes to the outreach program to, they serve a lot of underserved communities.
I think it was
Nice.
a literacy program was one of
So
the
who
things that was
are the
mentioned.
sponsors to this event?
Well, they're people from town.
Really? There's
Yeah.
not like a big corporation of people that are
No.
like, here, we're just boom. It's
Nope,
just
there's
a love
a couple here and a person here, and this
Wow.
person says, well, we'll cover the bar and all this or that, and
Wow.
the other person says, I'll cover this.
And then the proceeds are 100% going to a charitable organization. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Cool, great. And you bill it as a musical feast.
Yep.
Should always be wine involved.
Facebook posts.
Well, the ticket gets you a drink and gets you desserts that are being donated by a local restaurant
Nice.
of some sort. And then there'll be
Just sounds like a
a
great time.
bar, cash bar. So
Bring this to
it's going to be a
Toledo.
lot of fun.
I like the dog barking. It adds
doesn't
charm
bother
to
me.
our podcast.
Is that what it is?
People like dogs, and
People like dogs. I have a
I
dog
put it-
sitting on my shoulder right
Yes,
now
right
as
now.
we speak. So
Okay,
it's all
right.
good.
We'll leave the bark in there just to add a
Yeah.
little bit of personal.
So how do we
taste.
get this to come to Toledo someday? We want
Well, I mean,
We need-
all things are possible.
just to get these superstars to come here. They must be just nice people to do that.
Well, they are. They are. Like I said, Leah didn't hesitate. She goes, "Let me check the dates or work." She goes,
sings at the
"It's for the
Croswell
people."
sometimes.
You know what I told her? Well, this is how much they have to offer.
awesome.
As far as money, that she goes, "That's okay. It's for
That's
the
okay.
people."
That's beautiful. I love it.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm sure it had something to do with you, and I'm sure it had something to do with where she came from and all that kind of stuff. But it sounds like it's going to be like one heck of a show.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. When is it
Looking
again?
forward to it. November 11 and 12. It's a Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 4.
And they go get tickets where?
If you go to the Saugatuck Center for the Arts
Okay.
and you look up upcoming events, it's called Bravo.
Bravo. Okay, and we'll post some pictures of this podcast right now so people can go and look at it. And when this podcast actually drops, I'll make sure that I do it again. And hopefully by that point in time, it's too late for everybody. They've waited too long. That's what I'm going to say. I want this thing to be sold out. I want it to be a success. I want everybody. At the same time, I hope everybody who wants to go gets to go.
True. Hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, people who really love it and support it and do what they want to do get to go and see this stuff. So.
Well, I'm hoping that it'll go so well that they'll move it into the theater next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because it's too big and they can't keep selling. Yeah.
And the concept, what I totally understand, is they'd rather sell out than to have a small crowd in
yeah.
a big space.
That makes sense.
But I mean, we go to a lot of things that have us that it's not full. We go to the symphony. I mean, it's not usually full, but it doesn't diminish the
Absolutely
event
not.
and
Like
our
I said
enjoyment.
earlier, man, when I went and saw my first symphony show, I could have been the only person there. Not that wouldn't have made sense for them, but for me, it had an impact, and it was like, holy moly, this is amazing. So great. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, Micah, for coming. Thank you for doing
My
this
pleasure.
stuff.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
coming back. Whenever you're doing something, please get a hold of us. We want you on all the time because I love talking to you all the time. Ron also, I think, likes you. Don't you, Ron?
He's almost the godfather of my grandchild's.
Godfather of my own child.
My-
Godfather.
godfather of my grandchild.
Something like that.
Tyler's kid.
Listen, do you know that they said that I could come to the birth if I wanted? And I'm
be
like,
in the-
wow.
Yes.
I'm like, are you,
You could
freaking
be
kidding?
in the
You're kidding me.
room
And they're
with
like, no, it
Like
would
to
be
the
okay.
actual
Could have been
birth
in the
room?
Yes.
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 That, I
I would have cried.
listen, I did.
I
I actually
would've
got
cried.
teary. I'm like, because they were sincere. I'm feeling it come on
It's
right
fine.
now.
It's fine. Good
'Cause
thing
I
you
was
aren't
like, I
having
never
your
got
kid
to
like I am.
experience that.
Yeah.
I don't have children.
Yeah.
And so I adopt all my babies.
That's amazing.
Tyler's part mine too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
and
I'm
your
gonna cry
kids
at the end of
too.
this podcast. I
Your
know.
babies- your
I
babies
know.
are my
I know.
babies.
They took lessons from you as well.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Thanks for coming on. Bye.
Yeah. And if you're interested in,
I already said bye. No, go ahead.
No,
You
go
go-
ahead.
if you're interested in some voice lessons, you can go to Micah Graber Studio.
Me.
Just look up MicahGraberStudio.com.
Yeah, you only have
Or
like
you can
100
call me.
people that are locally have went to you and learned.
There's a show coming up in
Yeah.
next year that I want to be in, and I need lessons.
There you go.
And that's how you do it.
So
There's a
I'm
show
gonna-
coming up this week that the lead gentleman, I believe, is one of your students.
Yes.
there's something else I want to
See,
talk
so
about.
there's all kinds of
It's- they
people
open
that are
tomorrow.
still doing okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask another question.
Yeah,
you
go
were,
ahead.
You were in Chicago.
Oh, he was
Was
great.
that the Village
in Chicago.
Players?
No,
Who
no,
did
no,
that?
no. It was Cutting Edge.
No, it was Cutting Edge.
Yeah.
There it is.
I
He's wearing
actually
it.
have my. Isn't that funny? I didn't even do that on purpose.
But you're wearing
Cutting
Chicago.
Edge Theater. Yeah.
which was
year-
a great
year and a half ago.
performance, by the way. It was a
Did-
year and a half ago already.
It was. Yeah. It was a.
No.
That makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Well, you're right.
It was.
It
we
was.
need to get Stephanie back on. Whatever she's
kinda
doing,
like
we need to get her
right-
on.
What were you doing
right
on
at
that?
the.
You
we were
actually
coming
did,
out of COVID. Yeah.
You did a play. You did a musical.
No, yeah,
did.
but what was your
Yeah,
role?
I've done-
You had
I've
a
done
great
musicals and
role.
stuff. Well, so I went to all right.
I don't
so
want
they
to say
set
what
up
it is.
the
You
auditions.
have to say what it is.
They set up the auditions and they said, "Hey, come in and sing. We don't care. Sing whatever for whatever role you want. We're not gonna
Hurry up,
we'll
man. I'm
leave it
going to
kinda
burst and
open."
tell people what it is if you don't really sing.
And well, but I got to tell you because I decided to sing Mama Morton. I went, when you're good to Mama, Mama's good to you. And I thought, and I did it my low voice because it fit. I thought, and they were like, okay, that's interesting. We really love it, but we don't have anybody yet. We wondered if you would sing a little bit of Mary Sunshine.
The prison.
No, Mary Sunshine
reporter?
is the reporter,
okay.
the columnist. Yeah.
It's great.
And
Great.
I'm like, it's a little high. And she's like, Jamie was like, well, you can change a couple notes if you need to. So I shaved more than I've ever shaved anything in my life.
Legs.
And oftentimes,
Not legs,
the guys will
everything.
do it with long sleeves and a high collar. And no.
Cleavage. Shaved your cleavage.
I had cleavage.
Oh, my
I had a
gosh.
push up. I
Micah's
had
a
things
man.
tucked
He's got
in
a lot of hair. Okay, he's a man's man.
of hair, baby.
Yeah, I got a hug afterwards. I got a lot of Mike on that hug.
Man, I was singing some high notes.
Yeah, it was great.
I was starching my underwear.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, no, you were a little sweaty. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little sweaty. It's okay. It was warm in there, but that was a wonderful show.
I'm not real much a dancer, but Stephanie said, "You're going to dance," and I'm like, "Okay."
Everybody danced in that show. It's Chicago.
It was so much fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was a great show. Everybody was there. Not to totally.
I got a
sidetrack,
Stacky
but it
award
was-
for that.
Did you?
I did.
Not shocked. Not
Best
shocked.
featured role in a musical.
I bet there were a lot. Yeah, Chris, we want you on
Leading
always
act-
whenever you
you're
want to come on.
Leading actress, you won.
Yeah, best leading
Yes, I
actress.
did. I surely did.
So many good people in that show. I mean, there wasn't a person in that show that wasn't 100% in. So I was very impressed.
Yeah,
with
there
it,
wasn't
so.
a weak link. It was
Nope.
really good. We sold out weeks ahead.
Yeah, I believe
5
it.
performances. Yeah.
I believe it. I got a great seat because again, the locale that they put that in over there is no bad seats, but I got a really great seat. You know, it was just a great show. Great show. Just like I'm sure this show that you're doing, Bravo, is going to be an amazing show that everybody needs to go see. One more time. Sorry. It's
Saugatuck
Saugatuck.
Center for the Arts.
All right, people,
in
just-
Saugatuck, Michigan.
We'll put the link up. Everybody will
Yep.
know it then. All right,
Yep,
man.
yep.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
Love having you all the time.
me. Love you back.
Bye.